Hi guys, lately I've been working on a slightly unconventional team for Guild Battle Defense, figuring the characters that you see on screen, and I decided to try them in the arena today. It just seems like a fun team to use. I see a lot of teams with Elena, Fina, Yuna, mono-like teams. Some of them have Black Rose Helena, and very, very rarely I'll see a Fryevia in there. So I decided to try my own variation of that. So today we'll just go and show you some matches, but before that, the setup. And it's actually pretty important to have the right abilities on or off when you're doing this team, otherwise it just goes all the way, it goes wrong. First, most important ability to turn off is on Fina, actually. But let's talk about gear first. She has her bow, this miniature, and Black Rose Helena's TMR. Black Rose Helena's TMR gives her a barrier, which sometimes helps her survive a single hit, which is really important. And then this, for the accuracy, is good if I'm fighting an enemy Elena. Otherwise, if I never fought enemy Elenas, I would just give her more magic for more damage. But there are a lot of Elenas out there, so I'm happy to have that. Another option I have is Resonance with Odin, but I find that she hits reliably enough without it. Otherwise, I would just swap Bahamut for Odin, have less damage, but apply the accuracy down more frequently. And then in terms of abilities on off, as I was saying, I have decided to turn off Superior Healing. The reason being, she will have a too long cast time on it, and often she begins casting and the person she's targeting dies, and then she just wastes her turn. Whereas her damage is so high with Sparkle Shower that I need her to use that if she has the chance. So I've decided to only leave in her main job Sparkle Shower, Shadowbind in case she's out of those casts and still has a chance to do damage, and Full Life. So unless she's reviving somebody, she is hitting someone on the enemy team, which I like. And then in her gunner job, the buffs are off as well, because otherwise one turn out of 3 she begins buffing instead of doing something relevant. And so yeah, these are off, and I've left the other attacks on if for some reason they're the best option for her. I want her to use them. That is it for her. Then Fryevia, you won't see her attack too much. She's really more there as a damage buffer. She is going to begin by generating hate, and then she's going to take a ton of damage and need to heal. For that, she'll use Mashari's TMR, giving everybody on my team, if they're close to her, a 35% barrier for 3 hits, which then leads to our team being harder to kill. If she has other chances, she has Full Life, she has Curata on for the White Mage, and everything else is off. So she either heals a single target, revives somebody, or tries to attack. And then in her offensive job, all I have turned off is Blizzard Blade. All the other abilities are on, so it's not too bad. She has a lot of options, mainly Blizzaga Blade. But she doesn't have the accuracy to hit all the enemies that much, and she takes too much damage, because we don't have like all defensive support, that she generally just uses Mashari's TMR and then probably dies. She is equipped with Siren to have some slash resistance, and then the Blossoms in the Dark Vision card. And if you're not familiar with that one, it gives you Man-Eater upon all magic scaling attacks of 25, which applies to every person on my team. So with that, our Fina deals a lot more damage than the average Fina you'll see in a match, so that's pretty interesting. Then finally, Elena, she's right there. I'm using a ribbon right now. To be honest, I could probably swap that for an accuracy piece of gear and it would be just as good, because her TMR gives crazy evasion either way. But she is a Kodonama wielder to make up for that, so if she doesn't have the accuracy to kill the enemy, she has Unavailable Pain, which will be a 100% hit attack. I see most Elenas running as a Rune Knight because of the 1 point of range that can make a difference. Personally, I really love this sub-job. I'm a manual player, anything that gives me extra movement I like, but also the 100% hit is pretty important, and she has a lot of good damaging options that are magic scaling and have high mods. So if you're fighting an enemy with a high slash resistance, you can use Earth Shattering Pain or some other moves that are magic scaling and have like 200% mod instead of a Drain Evocation that has a really low overall damage. So I find a lot of value in the Kodonama sub-job. And then every ability from both jobs are on, except Stella Maris. And the reason for that is I want her to use her own TMR and give light and dark resistance up. There is so much light and dark in Arena right now that it's very useful. And so if I have another AoE buff up, she will not use Courage on her second turn, and I need her to use Courage, otherwise she goes down. She procs it nearly every single fight. So because of that, Stella Maris is off, even though it's such a good ability. So with all that said, let's go in. Alright, let's have some fun with this first matchup. It's an Elena, Yuna, Black Rose Elena. Now, I don't know what Elena will do with this TMR on her. I feel like she'll either use that or Courage. So we have a little bit of an edge there. It's not the greatest on her once she unlocks her 120 ability. But outside of that, they will have some nice heals. And then if the Black Rose ever gets to hit our team, she will probably be one-shotting everybody. And since this is such a short map, you know, that could happen earlier than later. So enemy Elena uses Courage immediately. Ours gives light resistance up, which hopefully will be pretty strong. Then we get some agility up. They have magic resistance, which will not be useful for them at all. Oh, also re-raise on Elena. Okay, Elena does not want to die, ever. Uses Strain Evocation, which barely does anything, and then we get Courage. They have accuracy up, that's fine, I don't care too much about that. They're now going to heal, and apparently Fryevia hit an attack. I don't know what happened with that, but she landed a hit, so I'm very impressed. We then proceed to immediately lose Fina, but she took out 2 enemies, so she did her job there, that's fine. Enemy Elena is being a monster at just going quickly and killing us, goes down, comes back, now all her lives have been expended. Can she one-shot us? Yes, but we have our own Courage, so we end up winning, but the enemy Elena kind of cleaned up a lot of our squad. So that first match was fun, but now Elena, Yuna, King Mont, and that King Mont seems to be built mainly for slash resistance. So we do have some slash attack, we also have slash resistance penetration, but with 70%, we might be in a little bit of trouble. I am curious to see just how that goes. We've seen an enemy, Elena, with Courage and Re-Raise be a huge threat, but luckily for us, this one does not have access to Courage just yet, so we have a little bit of an edge there. I'm curious to know whether Fryevia can survive or not, because she's in front of an enemy King Mont. He could disable her, he could do serious damage with his element advantage. But if somehow our Fryevia survives enough, then we will have some good performance. So I guess we'll just see how it goes. So our Fina has her barrier, that's good. King Mont has infinite AP, that is not as good. And then Fryevia is in a position to tank. So perfect. Seems like the enemy Elena will have neither Courage nor Re-Raise. Since she is their main damage carry, that does seem like a pretty good thing to me. But the enemy King Mont is accurate, which I dislike. It's not a good sign at all. We get barriers on our Elena, which is good, and then they kind of hit Fryevia, but for very low damage. So far, so good. I'm having a really good feeling for this one. They've lost their healer. Their tank is really low, even though he has some re-raise. And Fina's gonna hit again, misses the enemy Elena, which is really a shame, because then we would have had everybody survive the fight. But at that point, she's able to drop her crazy damage attack. We finish the enemy King Mont, and we should be winning the duel because we have Courage, and also because the enemy Elena apparently can't hit the broadside of a barn. So, there we go. Now this one also seems cute. I haven't fought a lot of the Elena Engelbert Summer Kilphe combo. For some reason, a lot of them don't have maxed out Elenas in the ranks that I fight in, but we'll go with this one, we'll see how it goes. We've seen in the previous match that our Fryevia can take a couple hits, but not that many from slash attacks. I believe she has something around 50% slash resistance right now, which is good, but you know, it's not crazy amounts of resistances. She will eventually go down, and then we hope that Fina hasn't decided to sit next to Fryevia and can potentially drop a full life. So far we haven't seen that happen a whole lot, but Fina has been doing serious damage to the enemy team, so not everything is bad. So this enemy team has extra accuracy that will certainly come in handy. They also have their crazy tank that started to walk around, but we have Courage, we are ready to fight, while they only have AP Restore, which I don't think will come in too handy. So yeah, now the hate is starting to be an issue. We start by hitting the wrong person once, almost take one out, but then we're grouped for enemy Elena's attack. She lands the entire combo, really bad for us. Engelbert just sits there, does nothing, and we lose Fryevia and proc Courage at the same time. Now Fina's gonna use full life, Fryevia's back, but she still has a chain on herself. Our Elena drops something as well, we take Summer Kilphe out, and then we are not in an AoE, which means we will be tanking a hit onto her. Perfect. Fryevia did her job. Now, unfortunately, Fina missed Engelbert, missed the enemy Elena, so we're just not taking her out just yet. And Engelbert just survives for a very long time in this map. I believe we'll lose, unless for some reason, this time we manage to finally hit Elena. So, Engelbert has Courage again, That's fine, we'll shoot him once, he has courage one more time. We are so much faster than him, and we'll just throw another arrow and win. That was an interesting match as well. Now, this one seems fun. There's a Yuna, Summer Kilphe, and Elena, and I don't own Yuna, so I'm angry at all Yuna owners, and so we will just go and try to kill them. Let's see what happens. I like that the trade-off is basically Summer Kilphe for Fryevia and Yuna for Fina, so we can get a general idea of their performance. So far, Fryevia hasn't been doing much in our matches, but she takes a couple hits before going down, which is the entire point. And if she gets a turn after taking a hit, she drops a barrier on everybody, which does have an impact on our own Elena's survivability. So just that has enough value that I don't mind using her. There we go, Fina's got her little buffs. We have a shield on Fryevia, perfect, and re-raises on Yuna, which feels kind of weird because all she has that's good is her limit break. She doesn't need 2 lives to use that, so I feel like her coming back to life will not have much of an impact in that mode, but maybe I'll be surprised. So she takes a first hit, then Fryevia just misses and wastes her entire AP pool, then takes a decent hit, but nothing too terrible or game-breaking. We then take out 1, perfect, Yuna heals. That's fine. Oh, 9,000 on Fryevia. That was an overkill. But she's back, so there we go. If she takes a turn, she'll be able to break the chain, but it seems like Summer Kilphe is playing again before Fryevia comes back in turn. Doesn't matter. We kill Summer Kilphe, generate some hate again, and then Fryevia's ready to rumble. We just kill Yuna, comes back to life. We are way too fast for her to cast anything, so at that point, it's just a stun. Now this is interesting. This enemy team also has Fryevia, and she has in it hate, lots of slash and magic resistance. And they have Valentin Salire, which I believe will completely wreck either Elena on our side or Fina. Fryevia might survive a little bit, but overall, it seems like a very, very threatening team. I just like the Fryevia mirror matchup, so we'll go in there and we'll just cross our fingers that we don't get obliterated by Valentin Salire. In my opinion, she is one of those units that is a cost 80 or 90, I'm not too sure, but is worth as much as a cost 100. If you've seen her in class matches, you know just how dominant she is. So I'm always very afraid when fighting one of her. So there we go, we have our barriers. We seem to be faster than the enemy team, which will definitely be good. And then Valentin Salire has a physical barrier, which helps her, doesn't help her at all against her team. So see, she's already almost dead. And now they use light resistance up, but that is not going to help them too much. But there we go, she almost kills Fina in a single hit. We then put a barrier on, but we've already lost courage. Then again, they've already lost her, so I guess that's not too bad. We can start chaining on the enemy Fryevia. Great. Now, Elena... Oh, not enough damage to kill us. Here is the light resistance coming in handy. We kill the enemy Fryevia. Ours begins casting, but... Oh! The enemy missed us with all 3 attacks, which means we do get the heal back. That's pretty convenient. So, overall, pretty clean win, somehow. And so, that was it. Hopefully you guys found it interesting. It's, you know, half super mainstream team and then half a little bit different. I love doing things that are slightly different, so I'm just happy to see some Fryevia love and have a chance to use her a little bit more. Surprisingly enough, I have tested a Ternia Puritas or the Freezes vision card, you know, her more themed appropriate vision cards for her, and she did perform a little bit better. She did a little bit more damage and etc., but overall the value of Blossoms in the Dark has been significantly greater because sometimes Fina will just get a one-shot that surprises me, or Elena will have the damage to kill in a scenario which she otherwise would not. So that was it. Hopefully you guys found it interesting. If you did, please like and subscribe, and then thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.